Hi everyone, it's Phil here from Ashland Leather, and we are continuing our 13th anniversary celebration with round 2 of private stock wallets. Everything that we're about to look at will be launching on our website, ashlandleather.com, this Friday, July 19th at 12 p.m. noon Central Time. You can find all these items on the private stock page there. And for this event, we are featuring blue shell cordovan, which I have a really nice piece of blue shell cordovan in my hand right now. We're also featuring some epic splatter. And lastly, but not least, whiskey shell cordovan. And then there's a bunch of other special pieces that we'll include in this event. So let's start it off first here with a rare shell cordovan color. Denim blue shell cordovan on a 100% denim blue shell cordovan Giant of the Fox. We have our special 13-year stamp made just for this event and the bottom interior right. Now this wallet is extra special because it's really difficult for us to find and source rare shell cordovan colors like the denim blue shell cordovan here. It's also even more challenging to find naturally thin pieces of leather that we require for all of the interior card holders of this wallet. So it's an extra special piece, not easy for us to make. We did have enough leather to make a couple of these wallets, and they'll be up on sale on that private stock page for Friday. So this is made with a nice contrasting rust color stitching along the outside, and I'm really enjoying how that stitching color goes along with that aqua blue shade. We also have some really beautiful hand-stained, waxed, and burnished edges. Up next is another denim blue shell cordovan piece. I had mentioned we are featuring this leather and color for this drop. Really special piece of denim blue shell cordovan for this Giant of the Fox. You'll notice the color ranges from a little bit more of an aqua blue shade to a little bit of a darker navy blue, and then all of the colors in between. It's a really dynamic color, this denim blue shell. We have natural waxed and burnished edges for this wallet, and that's because we have reverse blue shell cordovan for the interior. I find this color to be really striking, especially with the gold foil 13-year Ashland stamp. Couple more blue pieces here. Here's our brand new V8, the vertical 8-slot Bugs Moran denim blue shell cordovan. This one is hand stitched with a pea green color stitching. We have blue hand stained edges, and then more of that really awesome reverse blue shell on the interior. And this is some really beautiful dye splatter. We also have hand glazed over all of that reverse splattered interior. So you see a little bit more fill to the reverse side of the leather that you normally don't see on a reverse shell. We have a proprietary hand finishing method that we like to glaze in to the reverse sides of the shell, and it gives it that nice subtle luster that you're seeing here. We also have gold foil stamps and hand stitching for the inside of this one. And here's one of our small zip wallets that we've done in reverse blue shell cordovan that you can see on the back and some of the front here. We also have 2 additional card slots for this small zip and made in denim blue shell cordovan. We have a contrasting green color stitching that matches more of the color of the reverse shell than it does the blue. And on the interior, we have some black horsehide latigo with all these gusseted slots. And we'll slide in some more wallets to show you another V8 vertical 8-slot Bugs Moran. I'm going to start calling it the V8, I think, because it's just so many words to describe this wallet. It's like our traditional Bugs Moran, made a little bit taller, and then we have vertical card slots on the interior. There are 3 card slots on each side with an additional hidden card slot underneath each of them. Let's look at this one because this is also hand stitched. We've got a black shell cordovan piece on the exterior with black hand stitching, black hand stained edges, and then I love this combination of garnet and black shell on the interior, and then gold foil stamps. Another Giant of the Fox to show you. This is the epic splatter I was mentioning that we're featuring. Check this out. We're calling this hand glazed epic splatter reverse cigar shell cordovan, which is what this is, but I've never really seen a piece of reverse cigar look similar to this before. It's got a really cool, almost camo kind of look to it. And I mentioned we did the hand glazing to give it that nice little bit of brilliance to it. This one is also hand stitched with a cream color stitching. And on the interior, we have more hand glazed reverse natural shell cordovan. Up next, more epic splatter on my favorite wallet style. Check this out. I think this is also epic splatter reverse cigar shell, but that is outrageously awesome looking. I'm really digging this one as well as some of the other splatter we're going to look at, but there's something magical about the brown color of that cigar shell splattered onto some of these greenish and then some like reddish orange shades. all this just really, really works, and I love it. On this wallet, we also have some hand stitching in a contrasting cream color thread. We've got natural waxed and burnished edges, and on the inside, more of the epic splatter with some hand glazing. I mentioned another couple herbies with epic splatter. Check this guy out. We've got some reverse colorate with that epic splatter sort of streaking down from the top right down to the bottom left. Whoever cut this one did a really nice job getting that dye splatter as well as the Horween shell cordovan ink stamp. Now this leather I'm noticing is a little bit thinner than some of the other shell cordovan herbies we've had. So we might want to rename this one to a fit herby because it's definitely not a fat herby. On the exterior, we have hand stitching in the cream color thread, natural waxed and burnished edges, and then more epic splatter on the inside. And check that out. Really cool pattern of epic splatter on this reverse color 8. And another one, hand glazed reverse with epic splatter. I believe this is reverse black shell cordovan. And some people get confused when I call it reverse black because this leather is obviously green. The reason that is happening is because the black dyes that Horween uses are actually tinted with a little bit of green. So as that color is diluted and this leather is dipped in a barrel of water, some of the color migrates around in the water and affects the backside reverse side of the cordovan. This is the unintended side of the leather, which makes it extra special that it's completely random. So no two pieces of reverse cordovan are alike. Now this one is also hand stitched with a cream color stitching, and on the inside we have more epic splatter, and I like how the right side is much darker than the left, a nice little contrast from left to right. Up next is our Joe Batters wallet, back to the denim blue shell cordovan that we're featuring for this drop. We also have reverse denim blue on top for the exterior card slots, and that one has a Horween ink stamp on the exterior right. On the exterior left, we have the Horween measuring machine stamp. Now the Joe Batters is kind of like our Capone money clip, except we made it without the money clip, and instead we added a bill slot with a skip stitch. That's what we call this side here, onto the back side of it. So we've got 2 card slots on the exterior, 2 on the interior, and then 1 large bill slot. And I believe this is the short version of the Joe Batters. The original one was made a little bit longer, and we've been starting to make them the shorty versions, which I have here, and I think that's just the right length to appropriately fit cash in the backside. On round 1, we had no Johnny the Foxes, so I thought we would make up for it by including a bunch of maybe the best foxes that we've ever done in round 2. Now this is another piece of blue shell cordovan. However, this is the darker, more intense blue color, and that's what we call this one. The denim blue shell cordovan is a little bit more of an aqua blue, where the intense blue is a little bit more navy. We thought it'd be great to contrast that darker blue shade with an orange hand stitching along the outside of this wallet, and I really like the way that looks. In fact, this orange hand stitching, when we've done them in the past, there's something magical about the orange hand stitching that makes everything look great. So I really like how it's appearing next to this navy shell. On the edges, we have a natural waxed and burnished edge that does a nice job to further accentuate the framing of the wallet. And then on the interior, we have more of the intense blue shell cordovan, which is again, really great to see because it's so difficult for us to find naturally thin pieces of leather that we must have for the inside of the Johnny the Fox. Up next is another vertical Bugs Moran. However, this is the traditional 6-slot vertical Bugs Moran as opposed to the vertical 8-slot that we've been doing just recently released. This is also in the intense blue shell cordovan. We have a contrasting really bright blue color stitching along the outside edge of this wallet. We have a natural waxed and burnished edge, and on the inside some really beautiful splatter on reverse blue shell cordovan. All right, back to the denim blue shell. This denim blue shell cordovan is very light when compared to the intense blue, which is a little bit darker and more navy. We've already gone over. People really like that aqua blue shade, and then it sort of transforms into a little bit of a darker blue depending upon which angle you look at it. So this one is our vertical 8-slot Tony the Ant. It's got a bill slot on the outside, just like the Fat Herbie, and I have seen people ask about this, comparing the size of the vertical 8-slot Tony to the Fat Herbie. Now this is the gunmetal vintage Dover leather on my Fat Herbie, the one I've been carrying. You can see the vertical 8-slot Tony is significantly shorter than the Herbie, maybe by about 3/4 of an inch is what it looks like to me. Definitely a little bit smaller of a form factor than the Herbie, but certainly bigger than a normal Bugs Moran or a normal Tony the Ant. So bill slot on the outside with that exterior thumb notch. On the inside, we have the 8 card slots, and this is beautiful. I love to see all the epic splatter on the reverse side of blue shell, especially when we get this little sort of horizon line in the bottom left. I think this one looks great. And another vertical 8 slot, we have a natural waxed and burnished edge. And then on the interior, we've got some reverse shell cordovan. Last week, we did some epic texture on some gray cypress that we had been holding onto and released a couple wallets. I've got 2 more to show you this week. This is a Tony the Ant and the epic figuring for the gray cypress. And I think that looks super cool. We've got more on the inside of this Tony the Ant. And one more piece in that epic grain character, gray cypress leather. This is the Bugs Moran, but it is the vertical Bugs Moran with the 6 card slots on the inside. And I have another small zip wallet to show you. This time it's in a different version of blue shell cordovan. This is the raw denim shell cordovan. It's a blue shade that does not have the normal finishing applied to the surface of the shell. So it's not as bright and shiny as a normal piece of shell cordovan. Therefore, it's going to give you more room to develop a great patina. So this small zip wallet here, I've got it unzipped currently. We've added 4 additional card slots to this guy, 2 on the front here and then 2 on the back. Now this is raw denim on reverse ultraviolet shell cordovan, and then the leather that wraps all the way around is also raw denim shell. On the interior of this guy, we've got more black horsehide latigo. Now here's a fun one. I think this might be the first ever appearance of this concept. So this is like a vertical frank. It's kind of like our lucky wallet, but without the flap. But it is maybe we'll just call it a lucky card holder. So we've got 2 card holders on the front, 2 card holders on the back, and then we have this open stitch along the side, and this will be a great spot to fit folded cash into. I'm actually really excited about this design. Let me know what you guys think of this one. We have this reverse ultraviolet shell cordovan on ultraviolet shell, hand stitched with a baby blue color stitching along both sides. And then this one has that brand new black foil stamp. A couple more wallets to show you. And this is the last color that we're going to feature, whiskey shell cordovan. This is a fan favorite color. We always get people asking us for whiskey shell. We don't always have it, nor do we really ever have 100% whiskey shell cordovan Johnny the Foxes like this guy here. So this is a magical Johnny the Fox. We maybe made a dozen of these. Let's call it 13 of these in the last 13 years. We do not make many of them. And I've got a couple more to offer for this week's drop. So 100% whiskey shell cordovan. Let me give you a great look at this leather because it's remarkable. Really beautiful, sort of caramely golden brown shade. It's a really dynamic shade too. So you'll notice as I angle it and tilt it, more or less of the dark and light colors come through. It gets a little bit more yellow and golden at an angle like this, and then a little bit darker and more brown at this angle here. Really beautiful piece, especially on the interior. It's so difficult for us to get these naturally thin pieces of shell that we require for this wallet style. Another whiskey shell cordovan piece to show you. This time we've got a Bugs Moran with vertical card slots. Again, magnificent color from Horween. I love the whiskey shell cordovan. It's a little bit darker and more yellow when compared to natural shell, which I also love, but still has plenty of room to develop a great patina. And something like this, the vertical bugs, it's also really difficult for us to make because we have to find naturally thin pieces for these interior card slots. 2 more wallets. I think this one has never been done before. Vertical 8 slot, Tony the Ant, whiskey shell cordovan. Beautiful piece of leather here. We've got that exterior bill slot, of course. We have natural waxed and burnished edges, which we actually prefer to do on the lighter shell colors because we think it matches pretty nicely without applying any additional color. And then on the inside, check that out. Perfectly cut Horween ink stamp right in the center. And then of course we have these 6 vertical card slots with 2 hidden card slots underneath. This is a great looking Tony the Ant. And last but not least, before we get to a couple of regulars, my favorite wallet style, Fat Herbie, an epic character whiskey shell cordovan. A little bit darker than natural shell and all sorts of great figuring. Now this is rare to see. We don't see this on many pieces of cordovan, but this texture that you're seeing is sort of a visual texture. I can't feel it at all. You might even be able to see the reflection. There's no feel texture to it. It just has this crazy bit of modeling to it, which we would call the epic texture. And this is the whiskey color. Here's a look at the inside. And we'll finish it off today. I've got a couple irregulars to show you that are denoted with these little post-it notes. So here's a green shell cordovan piece. It's a vertical 8 slot with some reverse interior. That'll be going up for a little bit of a discount. Here's another epic whiskey shell cordovan, Fat Herbie, to show you a little bit of a darker whiskey color this time, in fact, and then epic texture on the inside. Here's another Fat Herbie. We've got whiskey shell cordovan with a reverse interior. And I have another whiskey shell cordovan with a reverse interior. And then last up is a vertical Bugs Moran with Whiskey Show cordovan. So all of these irregulars are discounted for small cosmetic inconsistencies. I think some of these had like little bitty spots in the leather that are not up to our normal standards. So I just don't have it in me to sell them for full price. Hopefully somebody can pick them up. Basically, all these irregular issues are things that you would start to see after you just wear the item for maybe a day. So it's sort of a good deal. But if you need a pristine piece, I would stick with the regular stuff. So wow, we've got a really great start here on round 2. Round 1 was great. Thank you guys for supporting us on round 1. I'm even more excited about the blue whiskey and then epic splatter stuff that we just saw in today's video. Let me bring back that epic splatter reverse cigar. Check that out. Super cool. So hopefully you guys are into these. Let me know which one of them you like. Maybe leave your favorite in the comments here. I'm going to go with this cigar piece just because I've never seen anything like that. It's super cool. Let me know which was your favorite. And again, all these items will be up on the private stock page of our website, ashlandleather.com, 12 p.m. noon Central Time. This is going to happen on July 19th at 12. All right, we'll see you then. Thanks again for your support. Take care. Bye.